Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing the main card of UFC 186 right now. We're talking with Nick Kalikas from MMAOddsBreaker.com, professional MMA odds maker. And also joining us over the phone from MMA Oddsbreaker is MMA analyst Brad Tazchek. Yves Jabouin and Thomas Almeida. Almeida is minus 450 right now. Jabouin is plus 360 on the other side at 5 dimes currently. And, you know, Jabouin, 35 years old, a veteran who doesn't have much going for him. And Almeida has strong hands. You know, he can get knockouts easily, could easily knock out Jabouin, who has a pretty soft chin. The line is up there, though. Almeida minus 450 is the current odds, and that seems like it's been climbing up since I checked earlier this weekend. Maybe Almeida by knockout is the only way to go here. Brad Tazchuk, what's your take on these odds?
You know what? If you look at the skills of these two fighters, the odds seem off. But if you factor in the physical state of the two fighters, I think that it does kind of make sense. Yves Jabouin, he is 35 years old, like you said. You don't see a lot of bantamweights not named Uriah Faber who have any sort of success at that age. And Thomas Almeida is one of the young hotshot prospects in the bantamweight division. I actually think that this matchmaking is obviously the styles are different, but it's similar to the match that we just saw in the UFC on Fox card between Aljamain Sterling and Takeya Mizugaki. The skills, were there on both sides. It was a pretty good matchup as far as skills go, but physically, Aljamain Sterling was just far superior to Takeya Mizugaki, and I think we'll see the same thing here with Thomas Almeida and Yves Jabouin.
I'm assuming that you wouldn't recommend a play on Almeida just at minus 450. The total is very low, 1.5. The over is minus 150. The under plus 130. I'm assuming that if you like Almeida, you'd want him, by knockout.
Yeah, I would think that he wins by knockout. Yves Jabouin hasn't proven all that durable in his career, especially of late. So I think Almeida's going to get him out of here in this fight. But it should be a fun fight for at least the first round until Jabouin really gets caught with something.
All right, Nick Kalikas, right now Almeida minus 450. Has that line been creeping up?
No, actually, it got bet down at first. Again, margins tightened a little bit, but I did open this at minus 505 for Almeida. Okay. I mean, he's that level of a prospect.
So then why is it that you think, I would assume that the public, when you have, an aging veteran who doesn't have that great of a track record to begin with, going up against an undefeated prospect who knocks a lot of guys out, I would assume that that's something that the public would be attracted to. Why did action come in on Jabouin at first?
Well, I think that Yves got a lot of respect back in his fight against Easton. A lot of people were surprised, with that result. He looked really solid in that fight, and he's always been known. I mean, and a lot of that fight was actually his wrestling that came into play, which is impressive. He's been working on that for sure, and he looks better. But, I mean, he's always been a great striker as well, offensively at least. I mean, the guy can throw down. I mean, he's technical. He's got power. He's a threat on the feet. And I guess if you look at Almeida's last fight against Gorman, I mean, Gorman, even though he got beat on pretty good there in that fight, Almeida looked great overall. Almeida still, punches hit him and, his eyes swelled up. He got some damage in that fight as well. So I think a lot of people are thinking that striker versus striker, the line might be a little bit too high. Plus mix in with Yves' takedown attempts and his wrestling that seems to be much improved as well, that it might be upset city here. I just don't think so. I think this is a good spot. I mean, the UFC matches up these fights a lot of times for a reason. This should be an exciting fight while it lasts. And I do think that Yves can do some damage on the feet, but I think that Almeida's chin is good enough that he'll survive it. I mean, to me, that Gorman fight was a good test. I know Gorman's not really well respected amongst the MMA community, but he's got some solid wrestling. He's got some solid power. Almeida was able to fend all that stuff off, and he looked great in that fight. I mean, the beating that Gorman took was crazy. It was brutal, and I don't think Yves is going to be able to survive that. So I think this is honestly a pretty clear-cut win for Almeida. As long as he doesn't get caught with nothing stupid, he's going to win this fight.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't see this as a dog or pass situation at all, although I definitely wouldn't touch Almeida at minus 450. And if I had to bet it, I would bet it by knockout, but I'm not sure if there would be value there. You think there would be value with Almeida by knockout?
Possibly. I mean, I do think that's how he wins it, because it's going to be so hard for Yves to survive 3 rounds with that guy. I mean, he's a special, talented striker. There's been a lot of hype with Almeida even before he entered the UFC, and so far, I mean, we've seen why. So, Yves has been knocked out by other people in the past, and I think he's not going to go 3 rounds taking it. So, yeah, there could very well be some value on Almeida inside.
Brad Tazchuk, if you had to recommend a play here, would you recommend a prop, the total, or would you absolutely not recommend any play at all?
I'd probably stay away from this fight altogether. It is the best striker that Almeida has faced in his career. So, we have seen him caught by lesser strikers in the past. He does have a good chin, but The only way you find out a fighter has a good chin is if he gets caught a lot. So that's never a good thing, even though he has shown to be able to take it. So I'd probably stay away from this one.
Okay, thanks so much, guys.